Also want to remind you, when you need electrical work, you need Rick Electric. For over 56 years, our friends at Rick Electric, they've been providing excellent electrical service for homes and businesses. Visit them online at rickelectric.com. You can also text us and call us on that Epic Companies hotline, 701-476-1660. Also, tonight, we kick off something new here for the playoffs. It is the new Friday Playoff Frenzy. You can join myself, along with Cole Jurek, at Cowboy Jack's, downtown Fargo, from 5 to 6. So right as you get off work, head downtown, come over there and hang out with us for an hour as we will be breaking down the game versus Montana. You can also win tickets to the playoff game coming up on Saturday. Plenty of other giveaways. Plus, how about a free Jim Beam Orange old-fashioned to the first 25 people that walk through the doors, and also great happy hour specials after that. Cole Jurek and I, again, will give you all the information you need to know versus Montana. We'll also have guests on site over the phone. We are your pep rally for all things NDSU in the playoffs each week, on the road to Frisco. We'll step aside, take a break. The Insiders, brought to you by Proceed. Need seed, think Proceed, online at proceed.net. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Your home for the Thundering Herd.
Hey, you got any left-handed football?
Bison 1660.
We take great pride in really doing all the research and the work behind the scenes to make sure that our products just work.
We have our own staff member that helps pick the hybrids and the varieties that work in our area. It's meant for you, not for somebody 200 miles away.
We test our seed locally. We produce our seed locally, so we get to see our production fields, where they need to be, and if they work there.
Need seed, think Proceed. Proceed.net, great seed at a reasonable price.
The holidays. The season is upon us. And when you play Santa and load up on holiday gift cards, Sickies will get you more. $25 gift cards will get you $5 bonus bucks. $100 in gift cards scores you an extra $25. Think of it as your holiday bonus for visiting Sickies. Explore new delights that keep Santa jolly, like signature Kobe beef burgers, mac and cheese bowls, wings, appetizers, shakes, and oh, did I mention 50 burgers and 50 brews? SickiesBurgers.com. We'll see you at Sickies.
If you're looking for a towing company that has graduated to the next level, you're looking for All Pro Towing. All Pro Towing specializes in heavy-duty and light-duty recovery. All Pro Towing is there for lockouts and jump starts and tire changes. Plus, they're available 24/7 for all emergencies. So when you're looking for a real pro, you need All Pro Towing. Save their number for when you need a tow. 701-541-3900.
Homewood Suites wants you to feel at home. This upscale extended stay brand understands that being away from home can be challenging. So Homewood Suites in North Fargo has designed their amenities to make life easier for you. At Homewood, you can relax in a variety of suites with full kitchens, complimentary hot breakfast, outdoor grills, and recreational areas that make stays more familiar. When you need to be away, but you still want to feel like home, choose Homewood Suites by Hilton. Find out more and book a stay at homewoodssuites.com.
On the Rocks Craft Cocktails bring natural, refreshing, bar-quality, balanced cocktails to the ready-to-drink category. Natural ingredients, no preservatives. Like the Mai Tai with Carusan Rum, the Margarita with Hornitos Tequila, an Old Fashioned with Knob Creek Bourbon, an Aviation with Larios Gin, or get spicy with a Jalapeno Pineapple Margarita with Tres Generaciones Tequila. Or maybe live it up with the Cosmopolitan with Effin' Vodka. On the Rocks Craft Cocktails. Hard to choose, easy to pour. Please drink responsibly.
Theraldson Ethanol, the ethanol plant located in Castleton, North Dakota, is accepting applications for a process operator. Work 4 days on and 4 days off, night and day swing shifts. Applicant must have a general understanding of process and operating procedures and a willingness to learn procedures for the ethanol industry. Theraldson Ethanol offers on-the-job training and an excellent benefits program. Email your resume to hr@theraldsonethanol.com or apply in person at 3549 153rd Avenue Southeast in Castleton.
Here for you, for all the Bison football coverage you can handle.
These guys do an unbelievable job, and you want to know what's going on in Bison sports, tune into the Insiders.
The Insiders on Bison 1660 and 92.7 FM.
Little Friday music to get you hopping around here before the big cold weather blows in. How about -20 wind chill tomorrow morning? Who's going to be out tailgating? We know Bison Nation's still going to show up. I've been in those tents, by the way, down there when it's been a little bit chilly. And Bison Nation, man, you guys know how to do it. Nobody else does it better than Bison Nation. And those tents actually stay nice and warm. Everybody has heaters down there. and you don't have to worry. I mean, I saw guys taking off their coats, and granted, it wasn't like a negative 20 wind chill, but it was still cold. I mean, we were in the teens at one of the tailgates here before, a few weeks ago. And there were guys in there taking off their jackets and T-shirts. It was a little bit toasty in some of those tents.
Oh, yeah. If you're fully enclosed in those tents and there's no open siding and you got like the zip up, zip down, that heat stays in there. And, yeah, you're in a T-shirt. You could be in shorts in there. It is summer inside those tents.
I got it at -1 tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Is that the actual air temperature?
That's the air temperature.
Oh, yeah. It's coming, man. So I will finally get my dose that you guys have been saying. Get ready. You think it's fun now? Well, get ready. We had to take down the fence in the backyard, so now I'm having to – I already get up early anyways, but now I'm having to walk the dogs early in the morning, and then also when I get off work late in the evening. Bridget does it throughout the day. You need to walk your dogs, take them out. But we had a little fence that we put up. The dogs ran around. The developer of the neighborhood drove by, even though 3 of the other neighbors had the fence. And they said, hey, you got to take that down. It's not up to code. And, man, I'd spent some money. Nice little fence. I mean, it was welded wire and T-posts, but I measured everything. It didn't look like I just threw it up. And I get it, I get it. So we took it down, and now it's dog walking days every day. You need the exercise.
Hey, man, I got a dog, too, and I have a fence, though. When I was looking for a house, I was like, I need a fence because I am not walking my dog every time he has to go outside and do his business. So I feel for you. That's tough, especially now. I mean, this isn't the worst of it, Rob. Trust me. If you're above 0, it's you're still doing all right. And you got a long winter to go, so you might have to find another fence.
We're learning quickly, man. We're back at it live from the Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Theraldson Ethanol, one of the nation's largest ethanol facilities. This 175 million gallon per year ethanol plant located just west of Castleton. You can fuel your future by joining the growing team and view open positions at TheraldsonEthanol.com. Again, we're here on the Insiders today. As always, great to have you in. Thanks to all of you joining us, by the way, on the Horse Cam. You can tune into the Insiders streaming live on Facebook, courtesy of Horse. That's Horse Farming with Passion online at horse.com. That poll of the day is up as well. Micah, what did you have for us today? It's already up on Twitter, but I'll let you do it since you're the mastermind behind this.
Poll of the day, we got, do you have your own Bison game day traditions? I know I had a few myself growing up, but currently, after a few minutes of the poll being on, we have 7 votes, 57% saying yes, 42% saying no. There is one comment, and it's a
brewski.
It's a brewski.
That's their tradition.
That's their tradition, cracking open a brewski.
Because we said, hey, comment. We said on the Twitter poll, Micah said comment if you said yes. Well, out of those, 57% of yes votes, there's only been one comment. It's a guy cracking open a brewski. That's his tradition.
I feel like that's a lot of people's traditions.
My tradition
is
not
a bad one.
I've got one, man, that I'm gonna. I don't know if I've ever divulged it here on this show yet or in public, but I have some NDSU Bison socks. Went over to a sporting goods store and bought some, and I wear those every single game day.
And you never wash them.
No, I do wash them though. I don't get into that. I don't get into that. I don't take it that far, but I absolutely wash them. The funny thing was when we were at Western Illinois, huge rainstorm came, and you know about the walk over there, right?
Oh yeah.
You go from the locker room that's basically inside the basketball gymnasium. You got to walk 3 or 4 minutes over to the field. We're halfway through walking. Torrential rainstorm pours down. I got there really early to set up. Torrential rainstorm pours in. The guy that was there with facilities walking next to me goes, you want to turn around and go back? I was like, bro, we're already halfway there.
It's like 2 miles back at that point.
And we were already halfway there. So by the time I got there, my shoes were soaked. My NDSU Bison socks were soaked. And if you've ever seen the facilities there, I'm not dogging these guys, but look, they just don't have the facilities that you go in and say, ooh, wow. It's more like, ooh, whoa.
Yeah.
Walked in. There's a window unit in the main press box. No one was up there. Took my socks off, stuck them on the window unit to dry them out, and ended up calling that game barefoot. Phil Hansen was like, and then Phil looks at me. Funniest thing, Phil looks at me at my left foot, and he goes, Rob, is there something wrong with your toe? That was like the first thing out of his mouth. There's nothing wrong with my toe. It's kind of just, crinkled up a little bit, man, from the rain. So that's a little story there that
that's a good
probably didn't need to know, but I just let it out of the bag.
No, I'm glad you did. I don't really have one anymore. I'm just trying to get myself there, get prepared, now that I'm, when I was calling games. I definitely had them while I was playing, though. I know everyone talks about the ritual. Mine was, I was weird, and it was like, if I did something one game and it worked and we played well or I played well, it's like, okay, I try and do the same thing. Obviously at NDSU, I'd always go to Mass early. I'd always eat the same thing at the pregame meal, listen to similar music. My the one thing I did that was super weird, like after we'd run out of the tunnel, everyone goes in the end zone and they kind of take a knee, say a little prayer. I'd always sprint down to the end zone, but I could never cross the goal line. That was my thing. I don't know why. I think I did it once, and I didn't play well or something like that. So for like the rest of my career, all the way through the NFL, I would never cross the goal line until after the game had started.
That's because you're on defense. You don't score touchdowns.
Exactly. No one's allowed in here, so I'm not going to cross it. That was my thing.
Good. Hey, maybe you out there, you've got one. You have a ritual. We'd love to hear from you. Text it into us. Let us know. 701-476-1660 on the Epic Companies hotline. You can also call us as well. We do have a question coming in here from Nick Snyder. Nick, appreciate you. This is a question for you, Kyle. He said, fans often hear about Coach Kramer's strength and conditioning approach to being an instrumental part of the team's success through the years. What is it that you can speak to regarding his approach that is differing and better than most other strength and conditioning programs? He said, thanks as always, and tomorrow, Bison 30, Griz 13. Appreciate that.
I like that. I like that score prediction. That's a great question. And obviously I can't speak to what other programs do, and I can't even really compare it to what you do in the NFL because it's just different. You don't have the amount of time, right? Like in the NFL, you have OTAs and you have like 2 weeks of just lifting and some meetings. But then after that, your lifting already gets cut back because you're starting to practice more. There's just not enough time. So in the NFL, like the development phase, like it's kind of over at that point. It's all on you. So I can't really compare it to the NFL. What I can say about Coach Kramer is he cares about this program as much or more, probably more than anyone else. Like you should see him on game day. I know his job for the most part on game days, obviously to get him warmed up and ready to go, but then to keep him off the sideline. But this dude is just passionate about North Dakota State football. He's passionate about what he does. I would just say there's no such thing as complacency, and it's all about the little things. And the little things matter on the football field, obviously, but that's like a mindset. That's not something you could just turn on once you get on the practice field or turn on once you get to the game. That's got to be something that's like how you live, right? Like that's how you work. That's how you do everything. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And so when you get in the weight room, you miss a rep or you don't finish the line, it's immediately, hey, you're getting called out. And it's just that's what I would go towards. That's what I would say about him. It's just there's no room for complacency. There's no room for taking shortcuts. When we won a national championship, that like 2 weeks later or whatever, when we started up for the next year, there was no national championship gear allowed in. It was all moving forward and looking ahead. And, yeah, that was great, but that's done and over with. We got to move on. And he really creates the culture of, hey, we are going to do things differently here. We're going to outwork people, not just on the football field, but in our preparation as well.
And is Coach Kramer, too, is he responsible for nutrition? Is he over that as well?
Yeah. And
so he's taken on a lot.
He did a lot with a little, and I know they have a pretty good setup now, but when I was there was still NCAA rules. Like they could limit, there was limits on what they could give us, especially in the summer. We got like chocolate milk and bananas and maybe a bowl of cereal, and that was all we had. But like we would have meetings, we would have cooking classes on just nutrition. And now it's a little easier because they can feed them all the time. They have the dining center all the time. They have snacks, unlimited snacks and things like that. But he really took on that role as well and it was basically just him. I think they have a full-time nutritionist now. When I was playing, it was just him. And it was, he was doing all the work he could there, trying to gain an advantage wherever he could.
There's been a lot of college programs now that are going to that, still having your strength and conditioning, and then also hiring on a full-time nutritionist. Saw that happen down at Sam Houston. And really when you have that dynamic, and even if it is just one person, you've got to have that person that harps it on. And better than anyone, Coach Kramer, he doesn't play around. He's a good guy. He loves these guys, but he's also going to make sure that they're eating right and that they're taking care of themselves.
If you get to know Coach Kramer, he's truly a different person when you see him in the weight room and when you see him outside of the weight room. Like, even as I played there for 5 years. I know Coach Kramer very well. There's been a couple times, I don't know, I was at the shack just hanging out, for whatever reason I was there, and I would kind of peek in and see he's in there with a group. I'm not even going to mess with him. I'm not going in there because if you do, he's, what do you want? It's the same thing. I'm working here. It's like, stay away, man. I'm in the office right now. I'm working. I'm in the lab. Like, I'll talk to you later, but I got things to do now.
Some more ritual text messages coming in. Actually, this one is on the horse cam on the comments there on the Facebook feed. Byron Smith said his pregame rituals, fireball team. Well, maybe. I thought he meant fireball. Maybe he said fireball team meetings.
Yeah, I'm assuming they get in a little huddle in a group, and I'm assuming they have indulged in some Fireball.
Yeah, I don't know. The team's not doing that.
Yeah, but it's
that's their team. That's
team
their
meeting
team.
amongst
friends.
friends.
But their team, the friend team, is doing that as well. Well, again, hey, I wanted to talk briefly. We got a break here in just a few moments, but I did want to talk about a couple of things at NDSU that happened overnight. The women's basketball program, with their first loss on the season, a tough one there, as they dropped a 73-55 decision at Eastern Michigan. It was their first loss of the season. Eastern Michigan outscoring North Dakota State women's basketball team 26-12 in the fourth quarter to steal that 73-55 win last night at the George Gervin Game Above Center. Ellie Evans, she led NDSU, now 6-1 this season with a team-high 14 points. She was 4 of 6 shooting from 3. These girls came out hot. You talk about a team that came out 6-0 to get things started. They've beat some very powerful schools. It's very tough to win, just like any sport, Kyle. You can attest to this. It's tough to win a college football game. It's tough to win a college basketball game. You're going up against great opponents, and for the women's team overnight, again, not able to seal that victory, but they know they've got a lot behind them, and they'll continue to do great things.
It's tough to be, playing at your top every single game, and that's where kind of the good teams will separate. And I know Coach Collins would say the same thing: is can you find a way to win games when maybe you're not at your best? Maybe for whatever reasons things just aren't clicking the same way. Can you find a way to win those games? And I'm sure they've already won some of those in their 6 wins before. But this will be a good learning lesson for this team.
So we always hear the word litmus test. It's the litmus test, and we'll see how they can continue to rock and roll. Andy Rickoff on the call for those games this season. NDSU, by the way, they'll be back in action at Central Michigan on Saturday afternoon. Tip-off set for noon Central, and Andy Rickoff will be on that call as well. Also wanted to give a little props before we take a break here to North Dakota State Volleyball, as they are set to face Davidson in the first round of the National Invitational Volleyball Championship, also known as the NIVC. Here today, that's coming up at 2 p.m. Central at Reynolds Gymnasium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So the Bison putting together a 21-11 overall record this season. They advanced to the Summit League semifinal round for the first time since 2018 and then fell short against Omaha 3-1. NDSU reached the 20-win mark for only the 5th time in the Division I era and first time under head coach Jennifer Lopez. So we will absolutely be cheering on NDSU volleyball as well. Congratulations to those girls as they continue to move forward as well. Well, Sun Butter is the maker of delicious sunflower butters that the whole family can enjoy. Sun Butter, free of the top 8 allergens, including food allergens, including peanuts, tree nuts, soy, and dairy, grown in the tri-state area and produced locally at Red River Commodities in Fargo. It's Sun Butter, simple ingredients, delicious flavor. Coming up, it's our interview with Karl Schoening of Incarnate Word. He'll join us on the Epic Companies Hotline. We'll be back. Stay with us. This is The Insiders.
Champions play here.
This man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play. No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth. He has small hands. He can't catch the ball.
You're home for the Thundering Herd. Bison 1660.
Our road to the ring is brought to you by Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry. The North Dakota State Bison wrapped up the regular season 9-2 overall and 7-1 in Missouri Valley Football Conference play and are headed to the FCS playoffs. NDSU fullback Hunter Lipke and left tackle Cody Mauk are finalists for the Walter Payton Award, presented annually to the top offensive player in the FCS, and Bison defensive end Spencer Wagee is a finalist for the Buck Buchanan Award, the Defensive Player of the Year. The Bison are in the playoffs for a 12th straight season and are seeking their 10th national championship in 12 years. The road to the ring is brought to you by Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry. They have a long history and reputation for quality workmanship and rock-solid pricing. Whether diamond engagement rings, custom jewelry, or repairs, let Brenda and the team at Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry create a legacy for you and your family. The Bison are the number 3 seed in the FCS playoffs and battle the Montana Grizzlies at 2:30 p.m. Saturday in the Fargo Dome.
The Bison Hotline post-game show is broadcasting live this year from Applebee's on 19th Avenue North in Fargo. Come see the Bison 1660 crew live after every NDSU football game and register to win prizes including Bison 1660 t-shirts, tickets to upcoming games, and a whole lot more. Plus, take advantage of the great food and drink specials at Applebee's. Bison Hotline broadcasting live after every NDSU football game from Applebee's on 19th Avenue North in Fargo, right across from the Fargo Dome. Horns up,
Location, location, location. If you are a business owner looking for your next commercial space, Epic Companies has the best options for you. Whether you are looking for 1,000 square feet of commercial space or 50,000, Epic Companies has what you're looking for. We have properties in West Fargo, South Fargo, downtown Fargo, and Moorhead. Move-in incentives are currently available for a number of our properties and can be discussed with Zach, our Director of Realty. Visit EpicCompaniesND.com for more information. That's EpicCompaniesND.com.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
The winter weather advisory is in effect until midnight with snow on your Friday, mainly before 5 p.m. Temps falling to the low teens by late afternoon. Chance of snow at 90% with 1 to 3 inches possible. This weather update brought to you by Minn Kota Windows. Just when your kids thought it was time to head outside, a cold snap rolls in. Ditch the coat and snuggle up with peace of mind, knowing that Minn Kota's energy-efficient vinyl will block out the brutal cold and save you money. Midwest built, Midwest tough, guaranteed for life.
Hi, I'm Grant Nelson, NDSU Bison basketball player. Whether it's playing basketball or driving in my car, I want to do everything to the best of my ability, on the court and off the court. So when I'm in the car, I up my game with the Drive for Less program from Nodak Insurance. I could save up to 30% on my premium just for driving safely. To me, that's a slam dunk. Download the Nodak Insurance app today.
Hail the Bison, right here, your home for NDSU sports. This is Bison 1660.
Back at it on the Insiders, rolling on a Friday. Thanks for joining us here on Bison 1660. Rob Hipp alongside Kyle Emanuel. I just lost my sound here. There we go.
I can still hear you.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I was looking away, and I was like, what happened? I couldn't hear my sound, and the headphones came unplugged. I don't know how. I wasn't even moving.
I thought you were saying it was Rob Hipp alongside Rob Hipp.
No, I was like, I thought I lost it. Rob Hipp here alongside Kyle Emanuel, Micah Vindy running the dial. You guys are looking at me like, what's going on? I lost the sound in my ears. Micah was staring at me. I was like, what's going on? We're back in it here. We don't have many technical difficulties at all. We always have a backup. Well, before we get to Karl, I want to remind you, if you're a fan of Twin Peaks, you can sign up for the E-Club to stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and to score free stuff. Visit TwinPeaksRestaurants.com. Eats, drinks, scenic views. That is at Twin Peaks. Also, Chris Hansen will be at the tailgate lot seeking the tailgater of the game. Make sure to show your Bison pride, and you could be the next winner of a $100 gift card, again, from Twin Peaks. Well, we won't keep him any longer. Now joining us on the Epic Companies hotline, none other than University of Incarnate Word analyst Karl Schoening. Karl, thanks for joining us. It's your second time on the show, my friend.
Yeah, it is always fun to talk to you guys. Wish we had a few more chances to talk during the season because these UIW Cardinals are good, and that's a broadcaster pet peeve of mine. When my headset goes out, I know most people might not understand, but we need to hear ourselves talk. We don't actually know what we're saying, so we need to hear back and listen to what we actually said a second ago. So, no, I'm right there with you, Rob. That always throws me for a loop, too.
We did it on purpose just to shake things up a little bit. Again, Karl Schoening joining us, TV analyst for University of Incarnate Word, the Cardinals down in San Antonio, one of my favorite cities. And, you guys are facing Furman coming up here as you got the number 7 seed coming up this weekend. Tell us a little bit just about how the Cardinals have been this year. We know all about Lindsey Scott Jr. as he has been. I think he's going to be the Walter Payton Award winner. Let's be honest.
I think Lindsey Scott Jr. is the best quarterback I've ever seen play at his level. Competitive football where you're talking about this is a fairly even playing field. He's a 7th-year player, but he is the most developed form, especially when you see what he did at Nichols, and he comes over here to UIW and has a ton of receivers that he can kind of pick and choose from. Darian Chapin and Taylor Grimes are two guys that put up ridiculous numbers last year with Cam Ward, and their numbers are even more eye-popping this year with Lindsey Scott Jr. They broke records last year that they or already have broken this year. So, yeah, UIW is really loaded with talent, and I don't blame you guys for burying the lead, but G.J. Kenny, the head coach for the UIW Cardinals in his first season as a head coach anywhere, just got the Texas State job, so he's moving to G5 Sunbelt at the end of the season. That all just kind of came out yesterday and was confirmed by the schools today that G.J. Kinney will be the next Bobcats head coach, but he will continue and finish the season for UIW. So, it's going to be a fun ride here as this is Scott's last year. This is Grimes and Chafin's last year. This is going to B.J. Kenny's last year. So you're talking about a whole bunch of players that are going out there on the field to win a national championship for UIW.
Yeah, Karl, that news came across, and that kind of led into the question I was going to ask you about that. Did that kind of hit the Cardinals by surprise? Did you sense anything? And I saw that happen firsthand at Sam Houston with our offensive coordinator leaving to get that head gig at Delaware and Ryan Carty. Just what does that do for the team as they're in the second round of the playoffs?
Well, it really was surprising that it was Texas State, because if you're following the rumor mill, you hear that G.J. Kinney's alma mater, the University of Tulsa, was the team that was going to land G.J. Kinney. He's a very hot prospect, obviously, and it makes more sense that he's going to go to his alma mater. In fact, Bruce Feldman was tweeting that out. Like, we're talking about that's just where all signs indicate. So it was a crazy last 24 hours for Texas State, because Kinney was sort of the third option only because people thought he was going to Tulsa. So they interviewed Eric Morris, who was UIW's coach last year, and this year was the Washington State head coach. And they also interviewed our good buddy Casey Keeler, and apparently those were the two finalists. And I don't know what happened with Keeler or Morris, but all of a sudden the Bobcats were able to, I guess, get in touch with G.J. Kinney, and all of a sudden G.J. accepts the job, and he said, and I imagine a part of it might be with the condition of finishing this season, because a lot of people weren't sure if, accepting the job meant that he was going to have to hand off responsibilities to somebody else. But the Cardinals are all in, and I certainly am happy that Coach Kinney will continue the rest of this season for UIW, and, congratulations to him on getting the Texas State job. He's from Texas, and I think even though he went to Tulsa, I think sometimes alma maters going back to their schools can be, even if it makes the most sense, you don't want to ever have a salty memory with somebody that you love, right? So that's something where I don't know anything about the inner workings of G.J. Kinney, but everybody expected him to go to Tulsa, and he went to Texas State. So as a graduate of Texas State in 2015, I love the hire because I got to know G.J. pretty well over the course of this football season, and I just think he's very talented and great. But I think a lot of people maybe look at how he doesn't have much head coaching experience other than this year, and Pee-wee football when his son needed a head coach. So, I think a lot of people might not know his name, but he is a very bright mind in the world of football. So this will be a fun sort of all left out on the field Cardinals playoff run.
Yeah, I as a Nebraska fan, I know going back to your alma mater, as Scott Frost did, doesn't always work out. So I can understand that from his perspective. I'm interested, though, because this reminds me of 2013. NDSU fans will remember this well. Coach Craig Bullhead accepted the job at Wyoming. I was playing at the time. We actually sat down, had a team meeting, and kind of decided ourselves on whether or not he would stay. So I'm interested, do you know the inner workings of, what ultimately led G.J. Kinney to stay around, and who made the decision for him to stick around throughout these playoffs?
Again, I don't know the inner workings of how, what conversations lead to this. It's just sort of I'm right there watching the drama unfold on Twitter with you guys. But how often in your life do you get a chance to make a run at a national championship? I think you have to always remember that you are in a certain point with this team, and you just want to get as far as you can with this team. And on a personal level, no matter who you are, and again, I'm not speaking for G.J. Kinney, but I imagine he probably feels that, this is the team that he's been with all year long. He doesn't want to leave them just randomly, like, hey, I got to, prepare for this other job that's a big opportunity. You want to win a national championship. These Cardinals, they're 10-1, and their only loss of the season was to the eventual co-Southland Conference champion, Southeastern Louisiana. It was on a last-second play. They had just taken the lead. It looked like they were going to go into overtime. Safety slips, and just that fraction of a slip to change direction allowed a receiver to get down the sideline and score with zeros on the clock. So, that's their only blemish of the season. Since then, they have been outscoring opponents by 45 points a game. They're 7-0 against Division I opponents. Not all those guys, the teams that they played were contenders in the FCS. In fact, most of them had losing records. But at the same time, you play who's put in front of you and you just absolutely blow them out. These Cardinals, I think, that's the one question about them. What are they going to do when they actually face a top-tier FCS team? But they did also beat Nevada this year. So, they have a win against an FBS team. So while they're the 7th seed, if they had actually played some ranked teams, like they were in the WAC, so they actually had their schedule changed in July for the Southland Conference. And so they missed out on like an Ohio Valley game that would have been possibly against like maybe a Tennessee Martin or somebody like that. So anyhow, you just look at this team, the only question mark isn't are they good, it's what happens when they face a good team, because the last time they did was week 3 against Nevada, and since then they've just been destroying teams, I think.
Again, it's Incarnate Word. Karl Schoening joining us, analyst there with Incarnate Word. They'll face Furman here on this weekend, December the 3rd, in the second round. The winner of that matchup will go on to face the winner of Sacramento State versus Richmond. And it could set up. I know, we say, look, 1-0, the coaches say, but some of the fans do want to look ahead. There could be that semifinal matchup coming up with NDSU if things work out versus UIW. We'll also keep our eye on the Walter Payton Award finalist there in Lindsey Scott Jr. And then on defense, you don't want to forget about a guy like Kelechi Anilabetsi. He is the Buck Buchanan Award finalist as well. Karl, got about 30 seconds. Just any closing?
Stay with me, Rob.
We got about 30 minutes, Karl. Final comments, Karl.
30 minutes, 30
seconds.
Kelechi Anilabetsi. Kelechi Anilabetsi is the guy that is the best defensive player that the Cardinals have, but they're just completely loaded with talent. How cold did you say it was in your weather report before I came on? You guys have a 90% chance of snow, and it's 3 degrees or something like that.
It's going to get that way a little bit later.
Yeah, 16 right now. Guys. I hope to see you guys, but understand that I will not actually own clothes prepared for that. So, that'll be cool if we run into you guys.
Yeah, we'll warm you up at the Dome. Again, Karl Schoening joining us, analyst there with Incarnate Word. Karl, as always, appreciate your time, man.
Hey, yeah, appreciate you guys. Y'all keep it rolling.
All right, once again, there he was, Karl Schoening joining us. This hour of The Insiders brought to you by Wimmer's Diamonds, a locally family-owned jeweler serving and believing in this community for over 100 years. Stop in and see them at their new showroom at 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo. We'll take a break. When we return, it's our friends from the Bridges, including Cole Payton. They'll join us in studio when we come back on The Insiders.
The most complete Bison coverage in the region. Your Bison Nation station.
You are deep in thought, which is always dangerous.
Bison 1660.
Well, here we are. The cold weather is here, and that means it's time for winter projects with Rick Electric. Hey, it's Chris Hansen. We've had Rick Electric in our home almost a dozen times. And take it from me, it's easy to see why they are the Upper Midwest electrical professionals. Rick Electric's been proudly serving the area since 1964. And if you want to make sure the power stays on this winter, they can install a Generac whole house generator with an automatic transfer switch. Schedule your appointment or get troubleshooting help at rickelectric.com. Businesses should know that Consolidated Communications has the only data center in the FM area that is SOC 2 certified. That means Consolidated has tested reliable systems in place to protect your valuable data. That's more important than ever with today's security concerns. Many business insurance companies require SOC certification at data storage facilities. You should work with a local data center that is SOC 2 certified. For scalable, cost-effective data center solutions for your changing business needs, go to consolidated.com/data center.
No one wants to think about it, but winter is here. Make sure your vehicle is ready at one of the 3 locally owned Jiffy Lubes of Fargo. Oil changes are the #1 maintenance item that's neglected. At Jiffy Lube of Fargo, it's easy. No appointment needed. Just drive up and drive in for your signature service oil change and a free charging system check to ensure your vehicle will be ready when you are. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, proudly serving the metro area for over 40 years.
dirt, rock, whatever you got, let it slide with Super Slide by Horn Plastics. Super Slide is a plastic, non-stick, self-lubricating, and seamless liner that's eliminated haulback in your dump box or trailer. Super Slide is easy to install, available in various grades, widths, and thicknesses. Going on now, you can take advantage of Horn Plastics' year-end install special. Buy one install, get the second free. Save up to $1,000 by booking your install before December 31st. For more information, visit hornplastics.com.
Every fan loves an explosive play on the field when someone breaks free and takes it to the house. Take that feeling anywhere with the explosive taste of Bud Light Seltzer, the official hard seltzer of the NDSU Bison. Bud Light Seltzer is always the right call for game day. The bold flavor of the hard soda variety pack and the all-new seasonal apple slices flavors will definitely score points with your team in the tailgate zone or inside the Fargo Dome. Bud Light Seltzer, the official hard seltzer of the NDSU Bison. Please drink responsibly, never drink and drive.
Honey, you're so hard to buy for.
No, I'm not.
Well, I know you hated the socks last year.
Yes, I did. Ladies, get the guys in your life gift cards to Men's Hair Company. This way, you both win. You'll look like a genius, and he'll look incredible. He'll feel incredible, and even smell incredible. Men's Hair Company gift cards will make any guy happy, and you can get them at menshairco.com, too.
Experience the difference at Men's Hair Company. Visit one of our 5 FM locations or check us out online at menshairco.com. Men's Hair Company. Grooming for guys.
2 hours of sports talk every weekday, 11 to 1.
Well. Oh, my gracious.
Now, let's get back to the Insiders.
Welcome back in, friends. Thanks for joining us on a Friday. I said Friday earlier. Both Micah and Kyle were shaking their heads like, no, don't ever say that again. But it is a Friday. It's always happy to be on Friday. Even the guests that are here joining us from the Bridges, they're like, Rob, come on. Good to have y'all in. Our good friends from the Bridges joining us today. The Bridges, making college living easy. All-inclusive pricing, internet, cable, electric, water, everything included in your monthly lease. Tour the Bridges near NDSU today or online at bridgesnd.com. Always a special time, our corporate game week sponsor here. And you guys, you ladies, have been in here several times before, so appreciate you back in. Annabelle, Brianna, and also Cole Payton joining us. I'll start with Brianna. How you been?
I've been great. Actually, I've been really busy. We are pre-leasing for August already of next year. We're like a little caught off guard ourselves on how many people are looking to move into the Bridges. So I was just talking to Cole about that. Like, we're really trying to nail down our renewals so that we know how much space we actually have available for our next residents. So it's an exciting time at the Bridges, and especially rolling into the holidays. I know we're even going to get more busy because parents are getting involved, so it's exciting.
A lot of great things happening. Again, our friends from the Bridges joining us. Annabelle, been a while since we've talked to you as well. We had a couple of shows over there on location. How have you been, and what's going on with the Bridges with you?
Good. It's going great. Like Brianna said, it was very busy. We're getting ready for some events coming up. Tomorrow we're going to be in the Holiday Lights Parade, so we have a float in there. Next week we have College Night at Kingpins on Wednesday, so any college student stops by our table, they get a free $10 fun pass to use anywhere at Kingpins. And then we'll have our Bridges holiday event. So we're going to wrap gifts for kids in need that we had bought for to give back to the community and just like enjoy some cookies, snowflake decoration, and everything.
Holidays are here, and it's all happening over at the Bridges as well. And, Brent gave us a tour, Andy and I, down there. Beautiful facility. And I'm going to switch it over now and talk to our Bison quarterback, Mr. Cole Payton, here in the house today in the studio. And Cole, man, you live there. What's it been like for you, not only just as someone living there, but someone that's associated with the university? Talk a little bit about your experiences you've had over at the Bridges.
I mean, I've loved my experience so far. I mean, I already signed my lease for next year. I got to get my roommates to do it too, because it's an awesome place, just how close it is to campus. And I think one of my favorite parts is how you have your own bathroom in your room, which is pretty nice. And, I mean, like, you'll find us playing ping pong sometimes down in the game room, and in the summers, at least once a week, we were out cooking on the grills. So
what are you cooking on the grill, man?
Just usually burgers.
Does it go down? Do they go down pretty good?
Oh yeah,
awesome, man. Well, I'm gonna come over there sometime and get you to fire up some of those. And you talk about they also have that automated convenience store. Do you take advantage of that?
Sometimes.
It's pretty cool setup over there.
Yeah, it's a neat deal, and we're super fortunate and lucky to have the Bridges and. Yeah,
everything that they do for you guys, making it easy. And you mentioned, too, Cole, again, joined here by the Bridges, our corporate game week sponsor. Cole Payton also sitting in with us as well. You know, Cole, it's cool because you mentioned the proximity to how close it is. Talk a little bit about just how easy. I mean, you look across the street, literally the field's right over there to practice, the new Nodak, all that's right there.
I mean, yeah, you said it. Literally, I walk to lift. I mean, and in the summers I would walk to workouts. Now that it's a little colder, and sometimes we'll drive to the dome, and I'll drive to class sometimes. But, I mean, it's so nice being that close.
Do you ever have, other teammates that maybe are a lot farther away and you kind of like, it only takes me like a minute to get over here. You guys have to drive across town.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, awesome. Again, Bridges, we appreciate all the great work that they do and helping students, finding a place to live, offers all-inclusive pricing, individual leases. You lease by the bedroom, too. And you mentioned earlier, it's nice to have your own bathroom, but then, you've got your own bedroom, of course, and all that. Just talk a little bit more about how much you've enjoyed that and just some of the privacy, too, and the security.
I mean, yeah, with the private bathroom, that's super nice. And because last year, being on campus, it was a cool experience being in a dorm, but sharing a bathroom with 3 other dudes, it was pretty interesting.
And you got to think too, playoffs are here, and you guys don't need to worry about where you're living. You need to focus on the game, right?
Yep.
And so you don't have to worry now over at the Bridges. They take care of everything for you. All you can do is just focus on your schooling and on your game playing.
Yeah. Another great part about it is how everything's all included. We don't have to worry about utilities and I don't know, some guys that own a house just worrying about paying for other things or stuff breaking down. But I just like how it's all included.
Awesome. Again, Cole Payton is joining us. We'll go back over to Annabelle now. Annabelle, you mentioned some events that are coming up over at the Bridges. Tell us a little bit more about those.
Yeah, so downtown Fargo tomorrow is the Holiday Lights Parade, and they have some events before that too. So we're going to decorate, pick up all the lights we can find and everything, hand out pretzels, everything. There'll be some coupons on there for waived application fees as well. And then we're starting that for December if you apply, waived application fees, and then we'll be out at Kingpins next week too.
Awesome. And Brianna, a lot of more information too on the website as well, bridgesnd.com. Folks can go there. What can they do through the website?
Well, you can look at any of the floor plans that we will have available come August. If you do want a tour, we encourage you to call us in advance because we are full. So we need to give people a little heads up that we're coming into their places for tours. But otherwise, just you can apply through there. Guarantors can apply through there if needed. And if you have any other questions, honestly, just call our office. We're really easy to talk to.
I want to just briefly mention something else that's so important because you got the controlled access environment, very safe place. You're not having to walk up to steps with outdoor balconies and all that kind of stuff. Talk a little bit just more about the safety. Maybe there's a parent out there that says, I've been trying to find a place for my student to live, and they've been worried about security. Talk about how your security is and how important it is.
Well, it is very important to us. We're a fully secured exterior building, so you need your individual fob in order to entry. And each individual suite has its own key as well. Additionally, we have probably, 100 plus cameras on site, and we have security patrols on the weekend as well, just to make sure that everybody is being kind to their neighbors.
And then you got guys like Cole Payton over there. If anybody gets out of line, Cole, take care, right, Cole? Mm-hmm. He's like, no, I'm not on security detail. I'm just focused on football. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. Big game coming up. Cole, you know all about this game coming up, of course, here tomorrow. Just your thoughts on the season so far, and what have you enjoyed most about your Bison journey so far, man?
I mean, it's been everything I expected and more. I mean, this place is full of tradition and culture, and that's what makes us good. That's why we win, and so I'm just excited to, get these playoffs started. And it feels like we haven't played in a while, having that Thanksgiving break. But so I'm super stoked.
What'd you do for Thanksgiving? What'd you eat, man?
I mean, my favorite thing. We have turkey. Might go to grandparents' house. Turkey, mashed potatoes, all the pretty normal stuff, but my favorite is definitely the sweet potatoes with marshmallows.
All right. See, That's the first time I've heard. Everyone I've been asking around here always says mashed potatoes and gravy. Is that right, Kyle? I forget. Everybody, what have they been saying?
Yeah. No, absolutely. The mashed potato. I'm with Cole there. The sides are what gets me. It's like the turkey is fine, but it's all about the sides and mixing them all together. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I had to age myself real quick. I want to tell Cole this because he's he's a player now, and I'm sitting over here. It's been 8 years.
You're an
since
old
I
man
played at NDSU. I used to live at the Bridges location right? But it didn't exist. I lived in a house that no longer exists there. It's actually knocked down. So I used to live there. So I used to walk across the street to lifts as well. But I wanted to ask you really quick, because we're previewing Montana. We got to ask you a football question. You're in studio. What about this Montana defense that you've kind of gone through? You're doing your preparation. What kind of challenges do they present that you've seen on film so far?
They definitely bring the heat. I mean, we've been watching like we do, and even watching the SEMO game last week to see who are we going to play. They bring a lot of pressure, so it's gonna be a good challenge for us, setting the protections the right way, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good.
All right, we're excited. Looking forward to that game. One more question just for you, Cole. Specifically football related. Young guy came into the program. I mean, just what have you learned? How have you grown with this program so far?
Geez, I've learned so much, and that's a huge thanks to not only Coach Hedberg, but Cam Miller and even Quincy Patterson when he was here last year. They didn't hesitate to take me and Peter under their wing, and I've just learned so much from them, and they're great people. So it's been a lot of fun.
A lot going on there. Excited just about your future and how the Bison continue to grow and work. And again, appreciate you and being there at the Bridges, living in a great place, a lot of great opportunities there. And as you said, you can just walk across the street. You're ready to rock and roll. So, Cole, appreciate you being on. I'll ask another final question here to Miss Annabelle. Annabelle, again, I know I mentioned the website earlier, bridgesnd.com. Still some availability. Talk about those application fees that get waived you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, so you just apply online. You will get a credit on your account once you go ahead, apply, and approved and everything, too. So usually takes us about 1 to 2 business days to contact you back, let you know what's kind of happening next. So it's all very simple, probably a 10-minute process to apply.
Awesome. Well, they've thought of everything at the Bridges for a better living: fitness center, outdoor courtyard, the grills, pizza oven. Have you took advantage of the pizza oven yet, Cole?
Not yet.
See, he's honest, though. He hasn't taken advantage yet, but you know what, man? Pizza's coming as well. Fireplaces, beanbag toss, everything you can think of, indoor gaming area, shuffleboard, ping pong. You mentioned you got involved in some of the games over there, automated convenience store, and so much more. And especially, again, for the parents, a very safe and secure environment. You can check them out online. Please go visit our friends, bridgesnd.com. They have truly thought of everything. Thank you guys for all you do. And, hey, can you say it on the count of 3 with me? Horns up, go Bison. Can we do that real quick? 1, 2, 3.
Go Bison.
Go
Horns
Bison.
up, go Bison.
That was close.
Horns up, go Bison. There we go.
You guys got it. All right, we appreciate y'all being here again. We'll step aside, take a break. When we come back, it's NDSU head cross-country coach Dennis Newell. He joins us on the Epic Companies Hotline. We'll be back. This is The Insiders.
Want a job you love? Join a winning team. Twin Peaks Fargo is hiring all heart of house support positions, cooks, bussers, barbacks, and more. Twin Peaks offers many great incentives like free shift meals, flexible schedules, and pay starting at $20 an hour. Apply today. Just text PEAKS to 85,000 to get started. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
I'm Emily. I had my LASIK surgery here at Vance Thompson Vision. Being in the healthcare field, the highest technology is huge for patients. For me, that was the leading choice and why I chose to go with Vance Thompson Vision. Life without glasses in the operating room has been incredible for me. There's no more fogging. There's no more having issues with my glasses sliding down on my face. It's been great for me.
Call 877-522-EYES to schedule a free consultation.
This is your Bison 1660 Metro Minute. Live United, Give United Day is December 9th. Online donations can be made starting Friday, December 2nd at liveunitedgiveunitedday.org, where your donation will be matched thanks to generous sponsors. Celebrate the holiday season at Rowe Farms by planning a visit to Santa Village with the whole family. For dates and more information, visit FargoParks.com. Again, that's FargoParks.com. That's your Bison 1660 Metro Minute.
Do you take pride in your work? If so, you won't find a better place to work than Trail King. They take tremendous pride in their trailers they build, and it shows in every product that leaves the building. Now hiring for production positions on days and nights. Full-time hire receives great benefits, including paid time off, health, dental, vision, 401k, and more. To see all open Trail King positions or to apply now, visit TrailKing.com. Trail King is an EOE and affirmative action workplace. Join Trail King and build something to be proud of.
Dakota Refrigeration has been helping the Bison succeed behind the scenes, from their training room to their dining room, from milk to medicine, from ice to ice cream. Dakota Refrigeration has been serving Minnesota, Montana, and the Dakotas for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, Dakota Refrigeration is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical needs. Dakota Refrigeration, located in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot.
Truck headquarters. Gateway Chevrolet has new Chevy trucks arriving daily. Buy your new Chevy Silverado at Invoice. Yes, Invoice pricing on new Silverados with a fresh look, new interiors, and larger screens with easy-to-use technology. Save thousands on new Chevy Silverados with 4 different motors available. Dynamic fuel management, Bluetooth, backup camera, Apple CarPlay, and more. Save thousands and enjoy the smooth ride in your new Chevy Silverado from Gateway Chevrolet. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
KQWB West Fargo, KPFX HD3 Kindred, and K224FD Fargo. Bison 1660, powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
We are And here's what you need to know.
FIFA World Cup action. Today is the last day of group play before the knockout rounds begin tomorrow. A couple of Group H matches. One of them has concluded. South Korea with a 91st minute goal to break the tie and beat Portugal 2-1. Now, Portugal was already through to the round of 16. It was the second spot in the group that has yet to be determined. And with South Korea getting the win, they put themselves possibly in a tie with Uruguay. They're ahead 2-0, so it would be a tie with Uruguay, but South Korea would advance based on the total number of goals scored. They're tied in goal differential. Uruguay's ahead 2-0 against Ghana, but they're tied in goal differential. But South Korea has one more goal scored for the group match. Uruguay, if they add one more, would force a crazy tiebreaker as they'd be even in goal differential, goals scored, head-to-head, and in yellow cards. So crazy stuff to be determined. I'm Kevin Wyatt.
You've got the insiders.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
That's what living is. That's right. The 6 inches in front of your face.
Bringing you what you need to know and a whole lot more. Topics you care about, guests you know, and the conversations you came to hear. The Insiders are presented by Proceed. Need seed? Think Proceed.
This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Now, here are the Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders. Insiders.
Bison great Kyle Emanuel and the voice of the Bison, Rob Hipp.
Second hour underway here on The Insiders. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rob Hipp alongside Kyle Emanuel. As we get underway here, I want to remind you, too, how about tonight, the Friday Playoff Frenzy kicking off this evening. I'll be alongside Cole Jurek at Cowboy Jack's downtown in Fargo from 5 to 6 to get you ready for the playoff games. Not just this game versus Montana, but each week. And you can win tickets each playoff game and plenty of other giveaways. Plus, how about a free Jim Beam Orange Old Fashioned to the first 25 people that walk through the door? And great happy hour specials. After that, Cole and I will give you all the information you need versus the Griz. We'll also have guests on site and over the phone as your pep rally for all things NDSU in the playoffs each week on the road to Frisco. Again, welcome back in. Thanks for joining us here on the second hour of The Insiders. Always a pleasure to bring it to you. And want to remind you, too, that phone lines are open at 1-701-476-1660. That is the Epic Companies hotline. But now joining us on the Epic Companies hotline, our good friend and the head cross-country coach at NDSU, Coach Dennis Newell. Coach, good to have you on today. Thanks for joining us here on The Insiders. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, we want to make sure that we try to highlight as much as going on as possible at NDSU. And just to kind of intro here, you have been named the Summit League Coach of the Year for women's cross country, the league announcing that just this yesterday, in fact. So just wanted to ask you a little bit about the success of the program that you guys had this year. Had a phenomenal run this year.
Yeah, there was a lot of exciting things going on, and you know, it's good to see, you know, any program and any staff and the student athletes that receive those accolades and things like that. It's just it's a strong statement for the student athletes that we have in the program, the coaching staff that we have, the administration. I always say these awards are a product of the environment that somebody's in. And, I'm obviously in a great environment, part of a great university, and so I won't say it makes my job easy, but it certainly makes it fun, and it certainly makes it more manageable. So,
Coach, I wanted to ask you about just your time here at NDSU. Obviously, this is just your second season coming from the University of Mary. You graduated from Black Hill State. Now, just kind of get it integrated into the NDSU culture. What's maybe surprised you? What's maybe been something that you expected, or just what's your time been like here at NDSU?
Yeah, my time has been great since day one. I was very nervous to make the move in the sense that I'd spent the last 16, 17 years at a program at the University of Mary and helped build something very special. And so when my wife and my family and I decided to take this position, a lot of it had to do with, we wanted to make sure we were becoming part of something that was greater than ourselves, and something that we had vision in. When I looked at this position, I remember telling Stevie, the head coach, the director, I said, "Hey, this is it for me. Like, I'm not looking to climb any ladders here with my career. Like, I'm a North Dakota guy. If I come over to NDSU and you want me, then this is something I'm in for the long haul." And so that was something that was very important to me: the family atmosphere, the community atmosphere. Like I said, I was born and raised in Williston, and it was important to me. I have a lot of pride in the state, so to be able to get back to, or really stay in the state was really important to me. And my wife graduated here, my father-in-law graduated here, so they were very adamant that I don't screw this up for us. And but I think that was the biggest thing, is just I wanted to make sure I was joining something that was very family-oriented, and I did, and that's been not a surprise by any means. But it's been something that's been refreshing. I don't know if anything really surprised me. Like I said, I worked 3 hours away for many years, and I saw all the resources and all the positives that NDSU offers to their student athletes, to their coaches, to their community. And it's kind of one of those things where you're looking from the outside in, and you're a little bit envious of it. And so becoming a part of this team and this family was really a prideful moment for me.
Again, we're talking to Dennis Newell, the head cross-country coach at NDSU, and just kind of looking ahead, just your second season directing the Bison distance runners, leading the herd to the Summit League title by a 30-point margin. NDSU this season placing 4 runners in the top 10, 7 among the top 20 at the conference meet. Bison women went on to earn team third best all NCAA Midwest regional meet. Finish of the school's first of the school's Division I era. Coach, just what really attributes to that success? You talked about being surrounded by a great support system. What attributes to so much success? We see it across all sports, but even with cross country.
Yeah, you want to recruit the best human beings that you can. That's where it starts. Getting those student athletes that just have very good characteristics, morals, and ethics, and they're very sound as humans. Obviously, we want them to have some level of talent, and then you put those people in the right environment. You help them become accountable. You help them understand work ethic. As a coach, you remain empathetic and understanding, and you form strong relationships with these people, not just student athletes, but the people around me that are helping me every day. And I think that's a really big contributing factor, in anything you do in life. It's not just coaching or athletics. I think it's, anything you want to be great at, you need to work hard, you need to be accountable, and you need to be understanding. And so, again, we have a lot of people that are very good at those things. And then, again, you add the resources and the opportunities that are afforded to us at NDSU, and it's a very good combination in our arena. And so I can't say enough about the student athletes. From day one when I stepped in here, it's always hard when you have a coaching change, and there's different personalities, there's different people. But the last coach that was here before me did a great job and left me a lot of great people, a lot of great things to build upon. So I was excited about that. And that's the thing. It's just we keep climbing every day. We keep recruiting kids. We want the right kids for the Bison program that believe in the same things we do, like I talked about earlier, with the family atmosphere, the community atmosphere, that are willing to work hard, not be entitled, that want to be here, that want to be Bison. I tell a lot of my recruits, we want people here that this is where they want to be, not this is their second choice. They wanted to go to the Big Ten and they came here. They wanted to go to the Big 12 and they came here. They wanted to be a Bison. Those are the people that are going to be great here. And so those are the people that we're looking for, and we've been fortunate enough to find many of those people, and then you just yeah, you show up to work happy every day and have a good time with it, and it's a pretty good life.
Well said, Coach. And I wanted to ask you, because obviously, we mentioned it, you're the head cross-country coach, but you're also an assistant track and field coach. I just wanted to ask you, what's next for you? What's the calendar kind of look like for a guy who's, a head coach in one sport and also an assistant in the other? And then, what's that preparation like for the athletes as well?
Sure, yeah, it never ends. So, being a cross indoor and outdoor track coach and athlete, you're in season 10 months out of the year. So we just finished our cross season at Regions a few weeks ago, but I'm actually sitting over in the Shelley right now. We're hosting our first indoor meet today and tomorrow. So we spent the last week setting up the track, and we actually have events going on right now here. We're hosting a meet. We have 8 teams here, and that's part of the excitement of, I think, what we do is that we have a cross season, but then indoor kind of overlaps it, and then you go right into outdoor, and it just, other than June and July, we're always going. So, there is no real off season, and it's this continual progression, and you're always tweaking things, and you're always moving, and I think that's what makes it so fun, even for the student athletes as we watch them. We have a meet, but we're going to have 8 more meets in January and February. Then we're going to have 2 meets in March, and then April we'll have 7 or 8 meets. May we'll have 4 or 5 meets. June we'll have a couple of meets. It's just, and that makes it nice too, because every week or twice a week you can continually measure yourself against other people, and so yeah, it just that's what we're doing right now. We're already starting a new season, so.
There's a lot going on. Again, we appreciate you joining us, Coach Newell. Dennis Newell here, the head cross-country coach at NDSU. Final question, Coach. Do you ever see crossover? I've talked to Coach Ince on the football side. Do you ever see crossover with some of the football guys getting involved in track and those things?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's, if you look at some of the storied programs in the NCAA, there's been some amazing programs that have done that very successfully. I know we've had some carryover here at NDSU in the past. I think we're always open to it. We look at, we want the best athletes in our uniforms. And, if we have guys that are playing football, or if we have some gals that are playing basketball or volleyball that can throw the jab or jump for us or things like that, we're always looking for those extra opportunities. If we have people in our community and in our family already, why wouldn't we continue to utilize them in different areas? And, so I think we're always open to it. It's just, I think the most complicated part about it is every coach, just like myself, we're greedy, and we want what's best for the athlete. We want what's best for the program, but it's hard. It's hard to give things up, because you want them doing off-season this for you and preseason this for me. And so it's kind of hard to do it sometimes, but I think from what I understand and what I've been here 2 years, there's been a very positive relationship with all the coaches working together. Like I said, I was here last year is my first full year, and we had 2 athletes that were crossover athletes, and they did well for us. And so I think we'll always continue to do that. A lot easier to get somebody off another team on campus than to go recruit a new freshman or get somebody off the transfer portal.
Yeah, I was about to say no hotel rooms and flights and all that kind of stuff, yeah. Coach. It makes it a little bit easier. Well, again, Coach, appreciate your time. We wanted to absolutely make sure that we caught up with you and see how things were going with the cross-country teams. Appreciate your time, and as always, just appreciate all you do for the student-athletes at NDSU, Coach Newell.
Appreciate that. Thanks for your time. Go Bison.
You got it. Once again, there he was, head coach of the cross-country teams. Dennis Newell, always great to catch up with other sports going on around NDSU. We'll switch gears. We'll get back into football talk, specifically Montana. I know that's what you're excited about, looking forward to on Saturday. We'll take a break, and on the other side, it's Montana play-by-play man Riley Corcoran when we come back on The Insiders.
Bison Nation, your exclusive home for North Dakota State athletics. Bison 1660.
So most companies claim they have good people, good product, good customer service, but the question is how often. We go the extra mile to take care of our dealers and our growers, and more importantly, their families and their customers.
Proceed tries to bring a family-like experience. Farmers, we want to understand what their challenges are. We also want to bring products to them that help them overcome those challenges so that they can be as successful as possible.
Need seed, think Proceed.
proceed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
Are you an electrician? Are you looking for a change? JDP Electric is looking for commercial, industrial, and service electricians. JDP is looking for both journeyman and apprentice electricians. You could start your career today with a family-owned and operated business who's been serving our community for over 20 years. Full-time positions available with great pay and benefits. Call 701-232-1991 or email info@jdpelectric.net. Start your new tomorrow today. Come be a part of the JDP difference.
Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry wants you to hold on tight to what's important this holiday season, and that's family. Thank you for allowing Schmidt's Jewelry to make memories that will last a lifetime, one diamond at a time. Be merry and bright. Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry, 3241 42nd Street South, Fargo. Online at schmidtsjewelry.com.
Invest in your community with Epic Companies. Hey, this is Mac. Have you been looking to diversify your portfolio and dive into real estate? We offer multiple types of investing through our mixed-use buildings and entertainment plazas. If you are an accredited investor and interested in hearing more about the investment process and how you can be part of enhancing the quality of life in the area, visit epiccompaniesnd.com to review our investment options. That's epiccompaniesnd.com.
Fall is about tradition. Tradition on the field with Bison football and tradition in the cooler with Bud Light, the official beer of the NDSU Bison. When you're enjoying a clean sack or a perfectly timed touchdown pass, let the crisp, cold, clean taste of Bud Light tackle your taste buds. The only bigger crowd pleaser on Saturday is another Bison win. Whether it's in the tailgate zone, a couch gate at home, or inside the Fargo Dome, the Bison go best with Bud Light, the official beer of the NDSU Bison. Please drink responsibly, never drink and drive.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
It's been a cold Friday with temps falling to the lower teens. A winter weather advisory remains in effect until midnight. Overnight, wind chills as low as -20, and Saturday, sunny with highs near 15. This weather update brought to you by Minn Kota Windows. Just when your kids thought it was time to head outside, a cold snap rolls in. Ditch the coat and snuggle up with peace of mind, knowing that Minn Kota's energy-efficient vinyl will block out the brutal cold and save you money. Midwest built, Midwest tough, guaranteed for life.
Missed portions of today's show? Go to Bison1660.com to listen to the podcast or find us on Facebook and Twitter at Bison1660.
Welcome back at it here on The Insiders. Rob Hipp alongside the Kyle Emanuel. There's no other Kyle Emanuel, NDSU Bison history, so he is the Kyle Emanuel. We're back at it live from the Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Theraldson Ethanol, proud partner with Summit Carbon Solutions, helping reduce the carbon footprint by capturing, transporting, and permanently storing CO2 emissions, cutting carbon intensity in half. Again, thanks for joining us, and we will head over now to the Epic Companies hotline. We are joined by none other than our good friend, the Montana play-by-play man, Mr. Riley Corcoran. Riley, thanks for joining us today. How you doing?
Hey, no problem, Rob and Kyle. Great to be talking with you. We were waiting for this matchup for quite a while here in Missoula, and glad that it's finally happening.
Hey, before I dig into football, I just had something thrown at me a little bit earlier. Just a few moments ago, we interviewed the head cross-country coach at NDSU, Dennis Newell. He said that you were his cousin.
How about that connection, right? On a Friday show of the Insiders, you've got two cousins back-to-back. I absolutely love it, and how about what Dennis is doing at NDSU? Got to love it.
Yeah, man. Well, he mentioned that, and I said, I didn't even plan it that way. It just kind of worked out. But, again, Riley, appreciate you joining us here today. We want to talk football, of course, and a big game coming up on Saturday at the Fargo Dome, a place that Montana is, on their way, probably already rolling into town here. And, I want to go back briefly because this Montana Grizzly team coming off of a very convincing, huge win. You come from behind against a very tough and talented SEMO team. You're trailing 24-3 with under 9 minutes to go in the third, and then all of a sudden everything goes in favor of Montana. Just walk us through that game and just a little bit of that push behind Montana heading into this contest here in Fargo.
Yeah, it was incredible, guys. I mean, from a rivalry game against Montana State that everyone knows how that turned out for the Griz. And usually in this state, win or lose the rivalry game, it is so hard to get up for the next week. And that's exactly what happened to the Griz. They were kind of stuck in a rut, I would say, for the first half. It just nothing was going their way. Turnovers, just costly penalties, all of those things. And then it was one spark. They just needed one spark, and they got it from arguably the best kick returner in the history of the FCS, and Malik Flowers. When he busted one loose, there was just life totally injected into the stadium, and it got loud, and it was just a steamrolling effect against SEMO, and everything started to work in perfect unison. And you guys know this. When the Bison are rolling, when the Griz are rolling, when good teams are doing their thing, it's all three units working in perfect harmony: offense, defense, special teams. And that's what it was. Montana's offense hadn't done anything for a couple weeks. That injected life in them. They went down the field and scored in 78 seconds. The defense got big stops. So it was one thing after another, and pretty incredible to have that game flip like that. 3 touchdowns in 5 minutes, and SEMO just really couldn't respond after that. It was a pretty fun night in the stadium for sure.
Riley, I think anytime NDSU plays a Montana school, Montana State, or obviously Montana, the Griz, the excitement level goes up here in Fargo because of the history, because of the blue blood nature of the Montana schools and FCS football. What's the mindset like? What's the mood around the fan base anytime NDSU comes up on the schedule and you get this matchup? I know you touched on it a little bit there in your opening statement there, but what's it like in Missoula when they know they're coming to play the Bison?
I have not seen a level of excitement around a Griz road game for a long time. I mean, everyone gets excited about home games here, but I think when the playoff matchup and the bracket came out, of course, there was a ton of talk of whether Montana deserved to be in. But over here in Missoula, there was the first thing they looked at was, okay, if we take care of business, we have a chance to take on North Dakota State. And Coach Houck has been very frank about it ever since he got the job 5 years ago, that they wanted their shot. They knew that North Dakota State, they are the gold standard for good reason. I mean, 9 of the last 11 national titles, as you guys well know, but you go even further than that because Montana felt that the first decade of the 21st century was theirs, and the last decade of the 21st century was certainly the Bison. I mean, these are the 2 winningest programs in FCS football since the year 2000, the top 2 in FCS playoff wins. I mean, this is everything you could ask for, and I think a lot of it goes down to why you guys have a show, right, every single day, because there's so much buy-in and care around the programs, and I think that's what's special around the FCS, that over 100 programs, they just don't get the resources, the support, the attention that a Montana and North Dakota State does every single week. And that's what makes this game so great. I think I've been asked a lot throughout the week, do you think the Griz are on par for where they should be under Coach Houck in 4 or 5 years? And I would point to exactly this game. I think that Montana knows that if they win this, they've proven that, okay, they can compete at the very top level. And if they don't, then maybe you could say the season was a disappointment. So there is so much excitement around here where I wouldn't say that Montana was looking ahead last week when SEMO came into town, but at the same time, they knew this opportunity was waiting for them, and therefore a lot of excitement here.
Riley Corcoran, the Montana play-by-play man, voice of the Griz, joining us here on the Insiders as we continue to talk about this upcoming matchup in Fargo just tomorrow. Getting excited, looking forward to it. I wanted to touch base briefly here with you, Riley, because you go back and look at the overall record for Montana at 8-4, and there was that 3-game window there where it was just back-to-back-to-back losses. And out of those 3, I mean, you're losing by single possession scores. Kind of walk us through those games because it was well within reach. And some people have argued, and this is where I'm going with this. Some people have argued, well, Montana, they're only 1-4 over teams that are over 500. But those 3 losses were very close losses.
They were, and it helps tell the story of this Grizzly season, right? I mean, in the middle of September, it was number 1 North Dakota State, number 2 Montana, and they created those expectations internally that they need to win a Big Sky title, that they should win every game. And to go through those 3 games that you mentioned, every game has a unique twist to it. The Idaho game, you just have to tip your cap. The Griz got outplayed in that one. They kind of got caught looking ahead at Sacramento State. The Vandals held the ball for 43 minutes. They converted an onside kick, and Lucas Johnson had the flu. Yes, that might come off as an excuse, but Montana just didn't play their best. You tip your cap to Idaho. The Sacramento State game is the one that I really circle at, and I think that that's the reason why Montana got into the playoffs, because it's so circumstantial. At the end of the first quarter, Lucas Johnson gets a cheap shot right at him, and targeting, he's out of the game, nasty concussion, so he's out. Montana looked great in the first quarter. Then there was a blown call late in that game as well that showed a receiver was out of bounds, that kept Sac State in it. So that being said, a tough loss in overtime at a team that's 11-0 and ranked number 2. Then you go to the next week at Weber State, and you don't have Lucas Johnson at quarterback. Yeah, you compete. It's a tooth nail claw type game at Weber State, and you lose by 3 on the road. So I know that it might come off as a lot of excuses if you're outside of Montana's camp, but those 3 games just helped tell the story of the season, where two of them were very circumstantial, and one of them, they just got outplayed. So I obviously over here we commend the committee and think it was a good call. They let Montana in, and quite frankly, they want to prove that by a good performance this weekend against North Dakota State.
Riley, I've heard it said that this Montana offense goes as Lucas Johnson goes. When he's hot, the quarterback there, obviously, when he's hot, the offense is really good. When he's not, they struggle. Do you agree with that? And if you do, when he does struggle, where do they look otherwise to find offense to get things going?
I would, Kyle. I would say absolutely that it starts and goes with Lucas Johnson. And he's had that dual threat ability all year long. And what's interesting to me, and I think to a lot of people that follow Grizzly football, is they really let him loose, right? The first part of the season. And that's when you saw the dual threat ability, running the football, throwing kind of schoolyard plays in a sense of, okay, just let it go and adjust on the fly. And that's when Lucas Johnson is at his best. And especially last week against SEMO as well. They took shots down the field. And there was a byproduct of a couple of things. You talk about the injury and him coming back from that. They kind of had the reins on him for a little bit to make sure that he didn't injure himself any further, and Montana paid the price for that. They really did. When it comes to Lucas Johnson, he just makes the run game go, and I think Montana sometimes in the season, the pass sets up the run for them. So that being said, his accuracy, I look at one stat for him, and I think that will tell the tape a little bit tomorrow afternoon, guys. It's his completion percentage. When he is completing it at 70-75% rate like we saw in the month of September, it's pretty hard to beat this Montana team. And their offense rolls. They're very balanced. They don't really have guys that stick out. All six of their receivers are kind of pretty close in numbers. And Nick Osmo had a couple big games, but really all the running backs have similar numbers as well. But Lucas Johnson, he's the one that makes them go. I mean, when you talk about points accounted for, 26 touchdowns in total for him. And he's coming off a career high in passing yardage. And I think that might have been, when we talk about the Griz getting out of a rut, I think it starts with Lucas Johnson there, because in the second half, he looked like the quarterback that Montana saw the first half of the year, and that's what's getting everybody excited about what the Griz can maybe do tomorrow.
Again, talking here to Riley Corcoran, the voice of the Grizzlies. Appreciate your time today here on the Insiders on the Epic Companies Hotline. We'll flip the script, look a bit of defense here for Montana, and you can't leave out a name like Robbie Houck, of course, coach's son there, and leading the team, 110 tackles, out of those 1.5 sacks this season, also 5 tackles for loss. Talk a little bit about his play, and just if you're a Bison fan, what do you have to look out for and watch out for with a guy like Robbie Houck?
Well, Robbie Houck is going down as the best tackler in the history of the Big Sky Conference, and I think his durability is pretty amazing. You guys will get a kick out of watching him play. Now, they list him at 5'10" and 185. I'm not quite sure that those are accurate, because he's a lot shorter on the field, right? But he plays outside of his body, and he is not afraid of anything. He'll stick his nose in there, make a ton of tackles. This Grizzly defense hangs their hat on the fundamentals, right? That they're fundamentally sound. They tackle well. In the open space, nobody can get loose. They don't try and allow big plays. And I think Robbie Houck, he's the quarterback of the secondary. This Griz defense, very unique. Kent Bear, the defensive coordinator, this is his 50th year coaching football, and they have a 3-3-5 scheme that really disguises pressure all over the place. And I think when you talk about Robbie Houck maybe being the quarterback and calling all of those plays, that really sets up the linebacking core. And to me, that overall, that's the strength of the Grizzly defense, led by Patrick O'Connell. That was another factor that really went into the Griz game. Patrick O'Connell missed the Weber State game. Big injury for him. When he's on the field, he is special. He was a Buck Buchanan finalist last year. In my opinion, he would have been a finalist this year if he didn't get hurt and miss 3 games. So it really starts with Robbie Houck in the back end, making sure everybody's disguising their pressures all over the place. Then the linebacking core is the one that could really stack up the stats, sacks, tackles for loss. They dial up blitzes and pressure, which is going to be interesting against the run game of North Dakota State. How aggressive is Montana going to be? Are they going to be the one that plays on their toes, or are they going to kind of react to what NDSU can do? Because we all know that the stellar O-line, the stellar run game that the Bison provides.
Yeah, Riley, I wanted to stay right there on the defensive side. Obviously, Montana kind of hangs their hat on defense. They've been one of the best, defensive units in the country, but I'm going to bring up a painful memory real quick. Montana State obviously gave up 55 points. What in that game did Montana State do so well to take advantage of this defense? And what, if you're a Bison fan, what could you look for NDSU's offense in order to get after this Grizzly defense?
There were 2 factors that went into it. Yeah, by the way, I've been going to therapy to try and forget that game. So thanks for bringing it up a little bit. No, but but in all seriousness, the Griz have been so good against the run. The last 2 seasons, I mean, obviously that's the highest they've allowed, but they've allowed 190 yards or less on the ground in 24 of their last 25 games. That game was the misnomer that was out there, but at the same time, what the Cats did, they employed that 2-quarterback system. And I'm not sure if NDSU is going to try and do that on Saturday, because that gave the Griz problems, and it really did against Sacramento State as well when they can disguise where the quarterback's lining up. I think we saw that a little bit with the Bison against Arizona when Miller was outside, and then you had Hunter Lipsey kind of taking the snap from the quarterback, just disguising who's going to have the ball. And then secondly, what the Cats did, they ran side to side. They ran to the perimeter and got the edge, and the Griz missed tackles. They weren't fundamentally sound. It kind of spiraled from there, and the Cats were able to get the momentum because they ran more side to side, which kind of seems a little bit unique, right? I mean, we're taught to run the football right up the gut, kind of in between the tackles. Not the case with Montana State. They just had the Griz on their heels all day long by disguising their formations, disguising who was at quarterback, who was at running back. And that was the first time, obviously, that I've seen in the last 2 years this Grizzly defense was not the aggressor. And I would bet pretty good money that Coach Hansen and the rest of the staff took a good look at that film, and it's up to the Griz to try and adjust to that if that's what the Bison are going to show tomorrow.
It's the Griz and North Dakota State coming up tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Final question. I wanted to chat with you just briefly. I know we've kept you on for a while, but again, appreciate you, Riley. That 3-3-5 stack defense that Montana has, it poses so many problems. I think you guys blitz more than 70% of the time. Just talk a little bit about that and the impact that it's had throughout this season.
It has been fun to watch for a play-by-play guy, right? And we're taught, Rob, that you get excited about the offensive plays. Well, really the last 2 years, the Griz defense has led the charge with that because they're so much fun to watch. And I think what they do, now, yes, it's 3-3-5. What makes it unique, though, is that they'll bring up a linebacker to play the stand-up D-end, and they'll disguise them, and they'll bring guys in from the secondary that creep in to where you cannot really identify what position is at a certain spot because it's so uncharacteristic defensively, and that's what makes it fun. And when you put in the fact that, yeah, they do put pressure on 70% of the time, something's going to happen, whether it's exciting or not. And you look at the third down defense for the Griz. They've been in the top 10 in the country the last 2 years as well. But North Dakota State's a different beast from the style of play. They run the football. They don't really throw as much. So I think this Grizzly defense can really pin their ears back against a team that is predictable in a throwing situation. And, again, this seems very elementary to talk about it in this term, guys, but the team that gets up by double figures first in this game, I just think with the style of play and as well as the strength of both teams, it's going to be really hard for a massive comeback, let's just say like last week, or just any situation you want to bring up. I think that the first team that can throw the first punch, not get too far behind, will be so critical because this Grizzly defense, if North Dakota State gets in a predictable passing situation, I would think obviously that's advantage Grizzlies with the way that they'll be able to disguise everything, and it'll be up to Cam Miller as well. Puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Montana takes pride on trying to wear opponents down with their defense. Now, I don't know if that can happen against the stellar offensive line of North Dakota State, but that's kind of the message of the madness and what's led them to success the last 2 years.
Well, Riley, looking forward to it. Will be an excellent matchup tomorrow. As always, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us here today on The Insiders.
Absolutely, Rob and Kyle. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, once again, there he is, Riley Corcoran. Love interviewing with him. A lot of in-depth knowledge about this matchup, how it's going to look. And, you go back to that defense setup, and this is a team that, when you look at tackles for loss, the Griz are fourth in the FCS with 93 of them. NDSU, by comparison, has 66. So that 3-3-5 defense and how they blitz, it really does play a big factor into their opponents.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's what they do. You heard Riley talk about it right there. Like that's the exciting part of this team at times, and I would agree with him. And just watching them on film a little bit, it's like, well, what kind of pressure are they going to bring this time? What are they going to do here? Are they, it's their identity. You talked about it, Rob, and how much they like to bring pressure, and that, with that, one of the, the results of that is going to be you're going to get those tackles for loss. You're going to get sacks, and I think more so than just the sacks and tackles for loss is how can you affect the quarterback when you do drop back and pass? Because I've seen it on film. If you watch this team on film, I mean, they're not going to show up on the stat sheet, but like the amount of times quarterbacks are just literally running for their life and they have to throw the ball away, or they scramble for a yard or two, or those types of things don't necessarily show up. But those are the things that good defenses do. You affect the quarterback without necessarily having to get sacks.
All right, we'll step aside here in just a few moments. Before we do, I want to remind you, when you need electrical work, you need Rick Electric. For over 56 years, Rick Electric has been providing excellent electrical service for homes and businesses. You can visit them online at rickelectric.com. This hour of The Insiders brought to you by Wimmer's Diamonds, a locally family-owned jeweler serving and believing in this community for over 100 years. Stop in and see them at their new showroom located at 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo. We'll step aside. We'll take a break. More on The Insiders on the other side.
You're home for the Thundering Herd. Bison 1660.
About a month ago, we had some unexpected plumbing issues. We called Valley Service Mechanical in a panic and were pleasantly surprised with the professional that came to our rescue. He took the time to explain the issues to us, and you could really tell he enjoyed what he was doing and the pride he had representing Valley Service Mechanical.
When your heating and cooling needs help and your plumbing is on the fritz, call Valley Service Mechanical, 701-293-5701. Online at valleyservice.net.
Homewood Suites wants you to feel at home. This upscale extended stay brand understands that being away from home can be challenging. So Homewood Suites in North Fargo has designed their amenities to make life easier for you. At Homewood, you can relax in a variety of suites with full kitchens, complimentary hot breakfast, outdoor grills, and recreational areas that make stays more familiar. When you need to be away, but you still want to feel like home, choose Homewood Suites by Hilton. Find out more and book a stay at homewoodsuites.com.
Proceed experience is the people that we're working with, the hands-on. We're not a super large company, but we're a hands-on dealing with customers. I know most of these fields because of the time I've been covering this area. In many cases, I've covered with up to the third generation of operators on the farm, from grandpa down to the son that's being handed over to now, and we build our business on service. You take care of the customer and they take care of you.
Need seed? Think Proceed. Proceed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
The Bison Hotline post-game show is broadcasting live this year from Applebee's on 19th Avenue North in Fargo. Come see the Bison 1660 crew live after every NDSU football game and register to win prizes including Bison 1660 t-shirts, tickets to upcoming games, and a whole lot more. Plus, take advantage of the great food and drink specials at Applebee's. Bison Hotline broadcasting live after every NDSU football game from Applebee's on 19th Avenue North in Fargo, right across from the Fargo Dome. Horns up.
Code Green is coming alive!
Bison football returns to the FCS playoffs to battle the Montana Grizzlies in the second round. Stay tuned in this Saturday for complete broadcast coverage. Coverage of Montana versus NDSU is brought to you by The Bridges, located at 1601 University Drive North, right across from NDSU. Whether you're a student or a parent of one, find the perfect living space that has a controlled access, fun environment, affordable prices, and steps from buses to all local colleges. More information at bridgesnd.com.
We all want to be part of a winning team, right? Hi, this is Marcus with Steamatic, and I am very proud of our team. Industry experts have voted Steamatic the best method of cleaning with our patented steam cleaning process, our 24-hour service, and highly trained technicians. We do it all from carpet cleaning, air duct cleaning, fire and water damage restoration, and remember, Bison fanatics choose Steamatic.
Steamatic, call 232-4707.
If you need any professional advice, they may not be your guys.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But if you need information on NDSU, then they got you covered. It's The Insiders on Bison 1660.
Welcome back into The Insiders on a Friday. Thanks for joining us. Rob Hipp, Kyle Emanuel, Micah Bendy, keeping you entertained here for the last hour and a half. We'll keep it going. Got a couple more segments. Been a lot of fun here. I always want the show to kind of go on because we start getting into a rhythm. We start talking about great things happening, and then it's like, man, we got to sign off. We still got a little bit of time here. Been a fun one today. Great guests. A lot of folks giving us some insight into Montana. Enjoyed catching up with Karl earlier, getting some insight there with UIW and trying to get you hyped up and ready for the big game tomorrow. If you're going to be out there, let us know. I know that you're going to be there. Call us, text us, let us know what's on your mind. What are you looking forward to most in this game? Maybe what even concerns you about this game. Got a guy in here named Kyle Emanuel that can help break that down as well alongside Micah Bendy and Rob Hipp. We'll love to chat with you. That Epic Companies hotline is open at 701-476-1660. And let's not waste any time. We're going to head over to the Epic Companies hotline right now. Matt from West Fargo is joining us. Matt, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for taking my call.
You
I got
bet.
a question for Kyle. The
the concept of physicality gets brought up a lot, especially when we play Big Sky teams, but that's not always obvious or defined. I know as a defensive player, when I played, I was always looking at how hard are their offensive linemen coming off the ball? Are they sustaining blocks? Will their wide receivers block you? Does their fullback put his helmet into your chest, or is he just looking to give you a shiver? Kyle, are there certain things that you look for when you're on film, when you're like, okay, that's a physical team, or that team's not really that physical?
Yeah, Matt, that's a great question, and I think you nailed it. I think your points are spot on right there. And to me, it's like physicality you can define it in so many different ways. Like you just mentioned, are there offensive linemen coming off the ball? I like to look at, do they finish plays? Are they blocking for 2 seconds and then just kind of stopping? Like, to me, that's still physicality. We've seen, going back last year, Cordell Volson, this year, Cody Malk, like guys that are finishing people to the ground. Like, that's something I think about physicality. The same thing with fullbacks. How hard do their fullbacks come out? Are they that nasty kind of guy that wants to get after you, that'll do the dirty work? But, and the other part of it, too, is just, the technique part of it. I talk a lot about it when I'm on the calls and things like that of, can your D-line can you hold up? Can you not get pushed back 2 or 3 yards down the line of scrimmage? And can you do it for 4 quarters? Because we've seen teams that can come in and they can maybe hang around for a quarter or 2, maybe even 3, but then they start to wear down in the 4th quarter. Physicality, to me, it's not something that you can just turn on again week to week. It's a part of you. It's part of your identity. It's what you do in practice every single week, and I think that's why NDSU, for the most part, against almost every team, can dominate there, because I know the way that this team practices, and that's what you do. You teach the nastiness, the mindset of being physical in practice, and that's why I think it gets brought up a lot when you talk about Big Sky schools, is because they just play a little bit different brand of football. I'm not watching Big Sky schools every single week, but it's more spread out. I think of like Eastern Washington. I think of teams that spread out, throw the ball a ton. Offensive linemen, yeah, you always have to have some level of physicality when you're an offensive lineman, but if you're not lining up in 22 personnel and running it down people's throat and A-gap power all the time, you just kind of got to get in people's way, and I think they're just not used to it for 60 minutes of a football game. They're just not used to it, and so when you play a style of, or when you go up against a style of football that NDSU plays, matching that is very tough to do. Now, I think Montana is, I'm not saying they'll match it, but I think they're well aware of it enough to at least put up a good fight, because I would describe them, when it comes to the Big Sky, as they are one of the more physical teams. At least they have been in the past. They know how to stop the run. We just heard Riley talk about it. They've been really good against the run in the past. So I'm not so much concerned if I were Montana as I would be like an Eastern Washington or someone like that.
You've heard of people, in games, they may describe it as like, man, that's a brutal slugfest out there today.
Yeah.
And those kind of words. And I think the word physicality over the years has kind of taken on different meanings. And it can be like, how do you look at it? Whenever I think of physicality, I think of, number one, how tough is a guy? How big is he? Different people see it different ways. But then, Kyle, as a former player, there's a lot of mental processing that goes into that word as well. I mean, how do you kind of tie in mental awareness and those kind of things into physicality?
Well, yeah, the mental toughness aspect of it. When I think of mental toughness, how do you react to things? How do you react to things, good and bad? Can you bounce back from a bad play? Can you bounce back or can you maintain things when things are going well? That's all part of mental toughness. And then it comes back to, that's why I talked about, physicality is a mindset of, just I'm going to get after this guy. Physicality is almost one of those things you can just see, Rob, right? It's like, it's almost easier to see and to point to and be like, that's what it is. That's what it needs to look like, than it is for me to sit here and describe it. Because it's almost like athleticism. When you talk about someone being athletic, it's like, well, how do you define that? I don't know. It's just something I can see. It's something that you can't really necessarily coach. Now, I think you can coach physicality. And like I said, that's created. That mindset is created in fall camp, in the weight room. We talked about Coach Kramer earlier. It's something that you can just kind of point to and be like, there it is. And NDSU has it, and they have for a long time.
One way you can point to it, too, is you look at the other guy, and he's got a bloody nose, and you can say there's a lot of physicality out there.
The other guy with his hands on his hips, wearing down, not wanting to do it, like quitting a little bit. Yeah, that's when you can see it.
Kyle, you mentioned
winning on the defensive line, what entails like a win in your mind? Like, is staying even and not getting backed up, is that a win, or is that kind of just a draw?
Yeah, definitely. At times, for sure. Especially like when you talk about like a nose tackle or 3 technique inside. If they're taking on a double team and they can, when we talk about like a corkscrew technique, or if they can just stay there and they can keep 2 guys on them without getting driven back into the linebacker, absolutely. But there's so many things that go into it. Like, I could get into the nuts and bolts of it. Like when you're slanting and you're coming across a guy's face, I'm getting to my gap, but are you getting there and you're getting washed completely down the line of scrimmage, and now you're making the hole for the linebacker that much bigger? When you're setting the edge, are you getting like 10 yards upfield and say, well, I did my job, but again, making the hole that much bigger? There's so much that goes into winning along the defensive line. But yeah, a big part of it is getting that penetration, or at worst, staying still on the line of scrimmage, not getting pushed back, making those reads clearer for linebacker. It's hard as a linebacker. I've played them both. When you're a linebacker and you got your buddy, your defensive lineman, pushed right back into your lap, you can't see where the ball's going. You can't move. You got a guy right now. You have to deal with your own guy and an offensive lineman. As a defensive lineman, at worst, you got to be able to stay on the line of scrimmage.
That's going to be a segment for another show. How do you describe physicality? And we'll have people call in and talk about that. We do need to take a break in just a few moments. Before we do, though, let's get back over to the Epic Companies hotline. Andy is joining us now from Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Andy, thanks for calling in.
Hey, Rob. Hi, Kyle. How are you guys doing today?
Andy, what's up, man? Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Micah's over here laughing, having a lot of fun. We're trying to keep it professional over here. But, yeah, Andy Rickoff on the line. What's going on, man?
Hey, guys. I figured I'd give you a call. Our first caller from the state of Michigan on the show.
Yeah, I got excited, man. Hey, is this your first time calling in? We may need the gong, man.
We may need it. I heard Kyle talking about your teammate getting pushed back in your lap, and I figured you were talking about Cole Jurek. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Luckily for Cole, I wasn't playing linebacker behind him, so it never happened. I'm sure it happened to him, to maybe Grant Olson or Carlton Littlejohn, I'm sure.
Good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Andy, you're out there calling some hoops. What's the road trip been like for you?
It's been great. It's been good so far, other than, of course, the result from last night. I mean, we've had good travel. I haven't had too many delays, but the game last night did not go NDSU's way. They were 6-0 going into it, faced another undefeated team in Eastern Michigan. Unfortunately, just didn't come out on the right side of that thing. Got a little away from them in the second half against the Eagles, but you're not going to win them all. A chance to get right back on the horse and go and play Central Michigan tomorrow. So looking forward to it and seeing if the women's basketball team can bounce back from their first adversity of the season.
Andy, we were talking World Cup earlier, and so keep it short because we've talked enough soccer. But have you been able to keep up with it a little bit? When you've been calling these women's games and on the road.
Oh, absolutely. We've definitely made sure we watched the England-U.S. game last week when we were out for Thanksgiving out in Reno. I got a chance to watch that one before we actually had to leave for our game that same day. And watched a little bit today. We have a little bit of an off day. I actually drove from Eastern Michigan to Central Michigan last night after the game. Got into the hotel, had like a team meeting and everything stick, and I went through some stuff. I have a little bit of downtime right now before a shoot-around and a little bit of a practice today. So got a chance to watch some of South Korea and Portugal. Epic comeback in stoppage time there, Kyle. I'm sure you know about that.
I do know about stoppage time. I've been watching. I've been doing my homework a little bit.
Kyle's turned into a big soccer guy, so he's
until this tournament's over, and then I'll go.
I thought he was going to walk in with like the old school Umbro shorts on and a soccer ball yesterday, but he didn't.
It's more than you, Rob. Mister, yeah. I'm not going to watch any of the World Cup.
That's all right. Hey, I know about Umbro shorts, so, I got a little bit of soccer. People don't wear those anymore, but anyways, that's how it is. Well, Andy, appreciate you chiming in, man, and looking forward to the rest of women's basketball. I got to ask you, we were talking on the phone the other day about you were kind of the good luck charm, and then that loss happened. I mean, what are you still the good luck charm?
I still think I'm the good luck charm. I'm going to take credit for a couple of the wins. Last night was not my best performance, so I put the loss completely solely on me. I'll do a much better job of getting myself ready, prepared for tomorrow.
Did you wear the suit and tie?
I take the loss personally.
Yeah, did you wear the suit and tie?
I did. Suit and tie for every game.
Okay,
yep, got another suit-tie combo for this game as well. I will say Eastern Michigan's coaches went all suit and tie. They were the only coaching staff I've seen so far go suit and tie. So maybe that was the good luck charm for them.
It might have been. Well, there he is, Andy Rickoff joining us. Yeah, he got you, man. Well, Andy, appreciate you on the Epic Companies hotline. Safe travels the rest of the way out there, and we'll see you when you get back, man. Be careful. It's snowing here now, so we brought a little snow for you when you come back.
No snow in eastern Michigan. We're in the 40s as well, so I'll try and bring back some warm weather for you guys. Have a good rest of the show.
All right, thanks, Andy. Once again, Andy Rickoff chiming in.
Gotcha
Always good
on
to
that
hear from
one.
him. Got me, man.
I saw Andy and I saw Mount whatever wherever he is.
Micah
in Michigan.
knew he was smiling
Micah was
over there.
laughing
Oh, I
over
knew
there.
the entire time. I was like, I'm gonna see if these guys notice.
I had a feeling it was Andy, but obviously that's Rob was taking the call. I was like, I think this has got to be Andy Rickoff.
I saw
right?
that. I was like, oh, man, this is great. We got somebody just from another state. They're listening on the app because there are a lot of folks that have the Bison 1660 app and join us there. Well, I want to remind you that Men's Hairco is the only place to go for haircuts, waxing, shaves, beard care, and more. You can find a location near you with 5 Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo locations to choose from. Go with the home team for your haircuts this football season. It's Men's Hair Company, online at menshairco.com. Also, before the big game tomorrow, if you need to stock up on all your favorites for watching football, the Spirit Shop, they've got you covered with their huge selection of beer, wine, or spirits at the best prices and great weekly specials. The Spirit Shop is off 13th behind Shill's Home and Hardware. We'll step aside, take a break. We'll wrap it up when we come back. This is The Insiders.
North Dakota State football plays here. Bison 1660.
At Wimmer's Diamonds, we believe in love, in family, and traditions. Hi, this is Aaron Wimmer inviting you to visit our new showroom where we can help you find the perfect gift for that special someone in your life. For more than 103 years, our family's been helping your family celebrate the special moments with beautiful reminders of love. Wimmer's Diamonds, 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo.
I'm NDSU quarterback Cam Miller. Just like a champion, it's what's on the inside that counts. Inside a Comfort King, you'll find the world's best material. Plus, it's backed up with a lifetime comfort guarantee. That means if you're not sleeping well and you need it more firm or more soft, we'll adjust the comfort for you. It's the lifetime comfort guarantee. Comfort King, bed of champions.
In Fargo and online at ComfortKing.net.
Hello, this is Matt Lehman and Mike Walski with Fargo Roofing and Siding.
We are here to help you with all of your commercial and residential roofing needs. Whether it's insurance-related repairs, remodeling, or new construction projects, our team is here to help.
We will approach every job with what we call Fargo values of honesty, integrity, accountability, and strong work ethic.
Schedule your free estimate today at FargoRoofing.com. We are now scheduling for 2023. That's FargoRoofing.com.
Fargo Roofing and Siding.
Hi, Jeff from Cutting Edge Gallery of Jewelry, and it's the holiday season, folks. There's 3 ways to save money. The first is on all natural diamonds, you're going to save hundreds and thousands of dollars. So the bigger the stone, the bigger the savings. A 1-carat stone, you're saving $1,000. And remember, we have the largest collection of mountings to choose from, and you're going to get an additional 20% off the mounting. A Cutting Edge Gallery of Jewelry right here in Fargo.
Jeremy here at Horsch in Mapleton. Did you know that Horsch manufactures premier planting, seeding, and tillage solutions right here in the FM area? We are proud to be a family-owned business based out of Germany and would love for you to join our team right here in Mapleton. We offer competitive pay, full benefits, and paid family time from Christmas to New Year's. Please visit Horsch.com to view our current openings.
The countdown to Christmas is on. Take a break at Twin Peaks and bring the crew for a holiday celebration. Need some last-minute gifts? Grab a Twin Peaks gift card in-store through December 24th and score a bonus card for yourself valid in January. Don't sweat those extra guests. Have you heard of our Peaks Packs? Family-sized meals complete with an entree, side, house salad, and rolls for 4. It's the perfect way to enjoy Twin Peaks from home. Available to order online or get delivered straight to you. Twin Peaks Eats, Drinks, Scenic Views.
From the court to the field and everywhere in between. Your home for NDSU athletics. Bison 1660.
Rocket out here on a Friday. Boy, the snow is coming down outside the Therals to Ethanol Broadcast Center now. It's blowing everywhere. And I still haven't got a real heavy jacket. I've got like a lighter jacket, but I don't get cold super easy as long as I have a hat on and gloves. Then I'm good to go.
But can that coat or jacket withstand the wind?
Yeah, it's a windbreaker.
That
type
wind is bone chilling.
Yeah, I see it out there. The snow blowing, everything's happening. And luckily, as I said earlier, we are right here inside of our cozy, warm Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Kyle, a while ago, by the way, I said, you got remote start on your truck? Because he goes, man, I got it. During the break, he's like, I got to go warm up my truck. It's like, where's the remote start? He's like, it doesn't really work that great.
I got the factory version, so it's like, if there's a couple walls in the way, it just doesn't work. So I used it, but I just had to make sure I was close.
Okay, wait a minute. So that's where I was confused. I thought you were going outside to start your truck, and I was like, man, that just defeats the whole purpose of the remote start.
No, I just walked closer to the window where I could see it, and then I got it fired up.
All right. Do you have the app? Does your truck have the app?
It does, but I don't have.
I got like an old. I got a 29 F-150. I can start that from. I can start it from across the country.
Talk about, and you could call me cheap if you want. I know if Cole Jerk's listening, he would say I'm cheap, but like, I got enough monthly subscription. I got like 19 streaming services. Everything else, all the bills, and it's like I'm not paying another $10 a month for an app to start my truck. Like I got the remote start, like because it has it, but it's a monthly fee.
What do you have? Like a Chevy?
Ford? I got a Ram.
Dodge. They should have a free app.
I don't think it's free. At least it wasn't. Maybe it is now. I haven't looked since I got like a year subscription.
I'll help you with that. I'll get our engineer Jake on top of that for you, or I'll help you bring back some of the old IT days. Well, welcome back into the Insiders as we wrap up here. Appreciate everybody joining us today. It's been a fun show. I've had a lot of great interviews, a lot of great folks on, and trying to get you up to speed with Montana. And by the way, Cole Jerk and I will be out at Cowboy Jack's for the Friday playoff frenzy. So come out there from 5 to 6. I know I said it's cold and the snow's blowing, but look, you guys are used to this. Come out, just bundle up. All you're doing is walking from your car inside Cowboy Jack's in downtown Fargo. Come in there, celebrate with us. It is going to be a pep rally environment. And plus, the first 25 folks that come in, you'll get that free Jim Beam Orange Old Fashioned. That's good enough just to come in there. That will warm you up right away. So come in there and join. Mike is over here shaking his head like, yeah, that will definitely warm you up.
Might just skip my other job today. I'm gonna come to that. Not work here in the studio because we can get Cole Illinois to do that, but I'm gonna have some fun with you guys over at Cowboy Jack's.
We'll be there. We're gonna have a lot of fun tomorrow too. Again, as the Bison battling Montana, the Grizzlies. That one gonna be a great contest, and looking forward to getting that thing underway. 2:30 tomorrow. We'll go on with pregame coverage earlier than that across the Pioneer Seeds Bison Radio Network. Kyle, been a fun week again. Thanks for joining us. As Andy had to step out this week for women's basketball. But, hey, man, been a great 3 days. Looking forward to that football game again tomorrow. Come out, be loud. Just kind of your overall thoughts about this Montana team as we wrap it up.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about them, and I think there's a lot to be said about this team. I know I personally, if you're just asking me, I like this matchup for NDSU. I'm not going to, beat around the bush here. I like NDSU's matchup. I think they can run the ball against them. I think they can kind of neutralize what they like to do with all the blitzing and everything like that. I think, offensively for Montana, if Lucas Johnson isn't completely on, I think I really like, what we can do against them defensively for NDSU. But at the end of the day, saying all that, it's still Montana. It's still a very proud program. As we highlighted, they have the 4 losses, but outside of that Montana State loss, I mean, they were in all of those games. Now, they don't have a signature win, and I understand that. They don't have that big signature win, and that was why some people thought they might not get into this game. But it's still a proud program. It's still a very capable team, and it's a team that is out, as we heard from their play-by-play guy, Riley, like they're out to prove that, yes, they belonged in this playoff. And they're, a couple of bad snaps, a couple of bad plays away from being a seeded team, and they were a top preseason ranked team for a reason. So it's still a very, very capable team. Should be a good game. I hope everyone else is as excited for it as I am because, anytime you get Montana, North Dakota, the 2 states that border each other, the proud program of Montana, obviously everything that's gone on here at North Dakota State, it's always a fun matchup.
Wanted to also mention before we sign off, those of you participating in the Bison 1660 Ultimate Tailgate giveaway, thank you for being a part of that. The key word, by the way, was playoffs, and our winner is Jason Link from Moorhead. So we'll get in touch with you, Jason, but congratulations, the winner there this week. That is the Ultimate Tailgate giveaway. As we announce it here today, the Ultimate Tailgate giveaway brought to you by DS Beverages and Bud Light, the official beer of the Bison. Also want to remind you, if you're a fan of Twin Peaks, sign up for the E-Club. To stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and to score free stuff, visit TwinPeaksRestaurants.com. Eats, drinks, scenic views. Chris Hansen will be at the tailgate lot tomorrow morning. Boy, I don't envy Chris. He's going to be down there freezing, but he'll take care of it. He is going to find the tailgater of the game. You can show your Bison pride, and you could be the next winner of a $100 gift card from Twin Peaks. Before we sign off, too, our good friend Dave Richard in Minot, As always, he gives us the keys to the game. Said the Bison need to stay on schedule on offense, avoiding 3rd and long. The Griz run that 3-3-5 defense and blitz from the moment they get off the bus. The Bison will handle this and gash them for big runs. Griz struggle with the quarterback run game, and Cam will be big in the run game. The over-under Bison, 320 rushing yards. Since 2018, the Bison have averaged 363 against Big Sky teams. Over-under on the Grizzlies, 130 yards rushing. Over-under 1.5 turnovers by Code Green. And Cam, more passing or rushing attempts. That's it from Dave, and that will wrap it up for here, us on the Insiders. We'll see you, and as always, horns up and go Bison.
We all want to be part of a winning team, right? Hi, this is Marcus with Steamatic, and I am very proud of our team. Industry experts have voted Steamatic the best method of cleaning with our patented steam cleaning process, our 24-hour service, and highly trained technicians. We do it all